It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen, podcast version. Episode number 1, Do Tattoos and Piercings Hurt? Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, and Death Before Decaf. Yes, it's the show where we pick one topic, one question, and sit down and beat it to death with answers. So let's join the conversation between Jack, Westley, and DaVo on this subject.
I've recently started asking people after they're done their range from 1 to 10, so I can start kind of getting an idea of what people are saying. And typically people are anywhere from like 3 to 5 typically. But before I was doing that, it's very hard for one person to even describe what something feels like, let alone how much it's going to hurt them. So I just tell people, it's very individual. I can do the same tattoo on 2-3 different people in the same spot, and they could all say it a little different. So as far as pain level, I think that usually I hear a lot of, probably an average of kind of 4. It's not so bad. A lot of people describe it as more of an irritating, something that they kind of want to knock away or get to stop, but not something that it's driving them crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you get about the same?
Generally, I suppose I kind of tell people that it comes down a lot to nerve endings. I know a lot of people think it's bone or fat kind of.
Right.
And I think a lot of that does hold water, and it's true. But I think it really comes down to nerve endings, because that's what sends pain signals to your brain. So I try to tell people, if they're asked about what places hurt more, I tell them, think about where those nerve endings end and where you're going to feel the most. Your fingertips,
Sure.
Along your spine, along your rib cage, where all those nerve endings are going to your brain to tell your signals. Your genitals feel a lot of pain,
right?
Because they're packed full of nerve endings,
right?
And so those are the painful ones, and those nerves are taking the quickest course to get to the ends of your body. So they're going to be closer to your armpits and closer to the insides of your elbows, which is why those areas feel bad too.
Right.
I think the elbow stings a lot too, just because when it's bent, it's pushing all those nerves close to the surface of the skin.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
why bone hurts a lot more too, I think, because of that too.
Sure. I think it's a lot to do with kind of mental preparedness too.
Absolutely.
I've noticed a lot of people that are really excited to get the tattoo and they're really stoked about it. That'll almost kind of trump that whole, it's going to hurt, but man, I just can't fucking wait to get this thing.
Yep.
I know that's the way I was when I first was getting mine.
Well, a lot of it comes down, in my opinion, to pain experience. Like if you've had a lot of surgeries or you've gone through childbirth, you're gonna have and it has more to do with how you deal with it emotionally and physically, that your body learns how to, like, hey, that hurts, but that's something that isn't a danger pain. It's not something I need to assess immediately. So it doesn't seem as painful. With piercings, it really is about the location. There are just some piercings that are just a lot more sensitive than other places. And it varies from person to person. It's almost, I've had clients describe it of, if I do something that's in an erogenous zone, for whatever reason, even if it's their navel, it's more painful than doing it where it isn't. So we're all kind of sensitive in little areas and have those little spots.
What's the one that you can almost guarantee that's going to be the most exquisite for most people? Is there
Men, nipple piercings.
Yeah.
Women, I've heard most of them will complain more, I think, about upper ear cartilage than anything else.
Really?
And then, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then probably, as far as genital piercings, probably the labias.
Yeah. I would.
But unlike there, and do you guys really, do you guys have the situation where it seems like it's very intense at first and then the numbs out quickly?
Yeah.
I'll have people talk about this numbing out thing. I've never really been...
10 minutes into it or so, you kind of... I think that you just get used to that pain. You know it's not going to end anytime soon, so you suck it up and you say, all right, just get through it.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's just sitting for that long.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
a big
old.
part of it too. Yeah, I've got those clients that just can't sit for long just because they are that type of person that gotta go, gotta get going, gotta do something. They're just mentally nuts. And it's a little bit of both for me now. I just don't like to sit there and stare at the wall for very long. And I don't have anything but the owie parts left, man. I've got all the easy stuff out of the way. So, yeah, it's a little different little different deal now for me.
But I mean, do you have like? I've never really thought about it, but with tattooing, like with piercings, like we always go on. Everybody's always like, "Oh, genital piercing is going to hurt so much." Yeah, it's intense initially, but unlike other places, like you'll have a little bit of throbbing and aching immediately afterwards. With genital piercing, it's like, "Oh my god, that hurts," and then it's over.
Done. Huh.
So I don't know if there's certain areas that are more sensitive that kind of the endorphins kick in faster.
I don't know if I've paid attention to it.
Because that's your natural body's
better than others.
Body's way of reacting to it.
Yeah, I think it's really mental preparedness. If you're just expecting it to be the most terrible thing and you're just freaking out and waiting for it to hurt and waiting for it to hurt and waiting for it to hurt, that's when those people get so riled up they end up getting lightheaded, I think. It's just that anxiety is building. Oh, it doesn't hurt that bad now, but man, I know it's going to. It has to hurt more than this. It has to. They get so worked up.
And when I first started getting tattooed, I used to do the tough man thing. Like, when I first got my first tattoo, I didn't realize that you just need to just relax and go with it. I walked in there like, I'm a badass, and I'm going to just fight my way and be angry all the way through this. It didn't help.
No, it wears you out.
It wears you out. You get tired. But if you just kind of just relax and go with it.
Exactly.
And like I've always tell clients whenever they're really super nervous, I'm like, I've been doing this for an extremely long period of time. I haven't killed anybody yet. So your chances of survival are really, really good. Your worst fears, not that bad. It's natural to have that fear of the unknown. It's a new experience.
Yeah, I tell people that the worst part about the tattoo is the 5 minutes right before it starts. That's usually the worst part because you don't know what's coming. You're freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's after that first 10 minutes, you're like, oh, shit.
Always put it, like my BMX and skateboarding days. It's that 5 seconds before the first time you actually drop it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
That's why I was all wound up. For
and I get that so much. You know, I get so many times. You know, I'll start and you'll hear, "That's it." I'm like, yeah, your friends were fucking with you, man. It ain't that bad.
Because that's the other thing. There's a legend of the badass.
Right.
This idea of big burly bikers and tough,
only tough guys.
Truck driving mamas only get tattooed.
Yeah.
That's not really the reality of the situation.
Yeah, not at all. And the whole relaxing through it is such a big thing. If you're trying to fight it off and you're spending all this energy and you're just almost trying to feel every ounce of it to fight it off, it's going to wear you out and it's going to be way more of a taxing experience. And the next day, you're going to feel like you got pushed down the flight of stairs. When I got my back done, it was just the outline. It was done by a very heavy-handed guy, and he was just kicking my ass the whole time, and it was terrible. The next day, man, my whole body ached just from the, just from the defensive mental mindset I was in. So I usually tell people to try to just kind of just don't fight off the pain, just kind of let it go through you. Just kind of let it happen, just relax through the pain. Don't try to feel it and gauge it necessarily. Just, that's uncomfortable, and it's just, it's running its course, and it's gonna come down.
The gentleman I finished yesterday had that big sleeve of roses. He was saying after he did his first session, because we spent like 4.5 hours on his arm there, and he powered through so much more than he thought he was going to get through. But he said he went home that night and he just passed out, and he said for the next 2 days he almost felt kind of sick, like a little bit of a cold under the weather. It's not a completely unnatural, abnormal thing to have a little bit of a sickness kind of afterward, just because
you depleted.
Yeah, you spent so much of your adrenaline trying to keep yourself together in that chair that you're just burnt out.
Yep, I've heard clients say that too, that they go home and they just basically just pass out, or they're done. Yep. They're just completely depleted from, because you don't realize really how much effort it takes just to sit there and be still and sustain. Getting beat up for that long.
You're flexing your arm just trying to keep it still because you want to jerk it away.
Yeah.
And part of that is the endorphin rush that sometimes happens, the adrenaline. Yeah. It's why people run, 5 miles so they can feel that burn and then feel really relaxed. It's kind of the same. And that's why people consider getting pierced or tattooed therapeutic in a way.
Absolutely.
Because they feel better about themselves and about what's going on afterwards.
Kind of a release in a way. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You have been listening to Q&A in the Kitchen, recorded live at the Skin Kitchen Tattoo, located in Des Moines, Iowa. Those on the panel were DaVo from the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen Tattoo, and Westley Dickerson from the Skin Kitchen. If you'd like to see further episodes, please stay tuned. We'll be posting more in the future, and do subscribe. If you would like to watch the video version of this, go over to our YouTube channel. We post these every other Sundays. You can subscribe there and not miss one episode. So until next time, have a good day and happy piercing and tattooing. And if you're in the Des Moines area, we all hope to see you for your tattooing and piercing needs in the future.